In the ancient red-soiled village of Umucha, where mud houses formed curved patterns like cowrie shells and the palm trees swayed to the secrets of the ancestors, lived a girl named Neka. She was 14, young by age, yet old in the ways that pain can age a soul before its time. Neka's beauty was the kind that made elders pause mid-sentence. Her skin held the warm glow of burning charcoal after rain. Her eyes shone with the patience of a river that had learned to carve its own path. And her smile, rare as it was, had a softness that soothed even quarreling spirits. But in the home where she lived, her beauty and brilliance brought her nothing but suffering. She had lost her mother at 6. The memory was a blur of whispered prayers, bitter herbs, and her mother's fading voice telling her, "Endure, my daughter. The world turns like the moon." Her father, Okeki, heartbroken and lonely, remarried a year later. His new wife, Agwoma, arrived like a slow and crawling storm, with 3 children of her own, tongues sharp as newly cut cane, and eyes that assessed Neka with instant resentment. From the first month in the compound, Neka became a servant. Each dawn before the first rooster crowed, she swept the compound so early that her footprints were the first marks on the fresh dust. She washed piles of plates that her step-siblings deliberately dirtied just to keep her busy. She collected firewood from the forest, balancing logs twice her weight on her small head, as though she were a grown woman. She cooked for the family, stirred heavy pots until her arms trembled, and fetched water from the distant stream, even under scorching midday heat. Yet she ate last, always. By the time she touched her own plate, only scraps remained. Watery soup that tasted of smoke, or broken pieces of yam that clung to the bottom of the pot. Often she forced a smile at her father in the dim evening light, not wanting him to think she was suffering. But Okiki knew. He watched her from the side of his eyes whenever her stepmother barked orders. He saw her shoulders droop under invisible burdens. He heard her soft weeping late at night, and each time his heart cracked a little more. But Agwoma, the new wife, knew how to twist guilt like rope around a man's throat. "You always defend her," she accused whenever Okeki tried to intervene. "Do you love your late wife more than us? Do you wish we were the ones dead?" She weaponized tears, tantrums, and the children she bore. Okeki found himself trapped, torn between keeping peace and defending the daughter who reminded him painfully of the wife he lost. So he comforted her only in private. Under the old mango tree, he often knelt beside her and whispered, "My child, I see you. Endure. Nothing lasts forever, not even suffering." Nika nodded each time, but her spirit was thinning. The day everything changed was an Ori market day, a day the villagers feared the most. On Ori nights, the elders warned never to take Ngan Road, the narrow path that cut through the forest toward the stream. It was said that spirits walked freely on that road, searching for wandering souls, luring them with voices of the living. That morning, Neka had fallen sick. Fever burned her skin, her joints trembled, and each breath felt like lifting a grinding stone. She lay curled near the hearth, unable even to stand, let alone fetch water. But Agwoma saw opportunity. By late evening, when the clay pot in the kitchen was empty, she marched into the hut and towered over Neka. "Get up," she snapped. "We need water." Neka weakly shook her head. "Mama, I will fetch it at sunrise. My body is weak. Please." "Lazy girl," Agwoma hissed. "Is this how you repay me for feeding you? You useless ornament. Get up." Before Neka could respond, her step-siblings grabbed her arms. They dragged her outside into the cold wind. Her fever worsened. The world spun before her eyes. "I'm begging you," she cried softly. "Let me go in the morning. Tonight is Ori night." But the 3 siblings laughed. "Better for you," one jeered. "Maybe a spirit will adopt you." Agoma shoved an empty pot into her hand so hard it bruised her small fingers. "You will not return to this house without water," she said coldly. Together, they escorted her to the junction where the safe village path split from Yang Road, the haunted route. The sky was darkening, the wind whispering warnings through the trees. When they reached the junction, they turned back without a second word, without remorse, without fear, without humanity. Nika stood trembling, clutching the pot so tightly her knuckles whitened. The forest ahead was alive with night sounds. chirping crickets, rustling leaves, and something else. Something that sounded almost like breathing, but she had no choice. Her father was not home. The pot was empty. Her body was weak, and she feared the beatings that would follow if she returned without water. Slowly, she stepped onto Nguyen Road. Each footstep felt like entering the mouth of something ancient and hungry. The trees leaned inward as though watching her. Shadows moved strangely, twisting in ways shadows should not move. Her heartbeat thundered. Suddenly, the path brightened. Voices rose, music drifted. Lanterns glowed like stars. Ahead of her appeared a small, bustling night market, bright, lively, filled with people she did not recognize. Colorful fabrics swayed. Traders haggled. Children ran laughing. Smoke from roasting meat curled into the air. Neka blinked in confusion. She had heard nothing of a night market in this forest, but her stomach growled painfully. She was starving, weak, frightened, and thirsty. Her eyes landed on a tray of glowing fruits, golden, ripe, inviting. She approached it slowly. The woman behind the tray smiled, a smile too wide, eyes too still. "My child," she said, "take one fruit. It is free." Neka hesitated, but hunger won. She took the fruit. She bit into it. Warm sweetness filled her mouth. Then darkness swallowed her whole. Her clay pot hit the ground. Her body vanished from the road. By the time anyone realized she was missing, it was too late. The forest wind whispered her name, and the ancestors turned their faces away. Neka awoke to cold. Not the natural cold of night air, but a hollow chill that felt as though it seeped from inside the earth. Her eyelids fluttered open and she gasped. She was no longer in the forest. She was no longer anywhere she knew. Around her stretched a land washed pale. Gray sand, gray sky, gray trees, frozen as though carved from ash. There was no sun, no moon, only a faint silver glow that allowed her to see without ever revealing its source. The air smelled of burnt leaves and something older, the scent of forgotten tombs, and she could not move. Her wrists and ankles were tied to a tall wooden stake, the rough bark biting into her skin. Voices murmured nearby. Slowly the shapes came into focus. They were people, yet not people. Their skin looked translucent, as if stretched over smoke instead of bone. Their feet did not disturb the ground. Their eyes had no whites, only swirling emptiness. The dead had gathered around her. One leaned forward, sniffing the air greedily. Another grinned with rotting teeth. A woman with half a face whispered, "Full moon feast. 7 days." Laughter rose, sharp and cold like broken calabash. "Fresh child. She will scream sweetly. 7 days." Neka's heart thundered. Her throat tightened. She tried to cry out for help, but no sound came. Terror pinned her breath. Then the dead began to disperse, drifting like torn cloth in the wind, leaving her tied to the stake under the dull, glowing sky. She was alone, or so she thought. A small voice spoke beside her. "You should not have eaten the fruit." Neka jerked her head to the right. A boy sat cross-legged at the base of the stake. He looked about 8, with round cheeks and wide eyes. But something was wrong. His body flickered faintly, as though struggling to remain whole, and his eyes were too dark, too deep, like bottomless wells. Who are you?" Nika whispered. He smiled gently. "I am one of them, one of the ones waiting to eat you." Her breath froze. The boy laughed softly at her horror. "Do not fear. I like you. But when the moon rises on the 7th night, I will enjoy eating your flesh. It will make me strong, strong enough to cross more often into your world." Tears filled Neka's eyes. She had endured years of hardship, but nothing like this. Tied in a dead land, surrounded by spirits who saw her as nothing but meat. The boy watched her quietly, then sighed. "You humans cry too easily. Death is not so terrible, only painful at first." She squeezed her eyes shut. The boy poked her foot lightly. "Look around. This place is not all misery. It has treasures." "Treasures?" she whispered. He pointed to a cluster of huts in the distance, dark shapes arranged in a crooked circle. "That one with the wide roof," he said, "is where we keep the wealth of the living. Gold, diamonds, jewels from kings and kingdoms. We love shiny things. They remind us of the sun we no longer see. Neka stared at the hut, her fear momentarily overshadowed by awe. Then the boy leaned closer. And that tall hut over there? That is where the woman who tricked you lives. The fruit you ate came from her. Only that fruit can take you back to your world. Neka's pulse quickened. Can, can I escape? The boy tilted his head. If you were not tied, if the woman were asleep, if the guards were distracted, if a miracle came, he shrugged. But you are here, and we are hungry. Back in the world of the living, chaos burst into Okeki's compound when the night deepened and Neka did not return. Where is she? Okeki roared as he stormed into the yard, panic already stretching across his face. Aguma stood stiffly, her children cowering behind her. Your daughter is stubborn, she snapped. She refused to fetch water earlier. She must still be at the stream. At this hour, Okeki thundered. On Ori night? You sent her? Aguma's lips trembled, but her eyes remained defiant. She needed to learn responsibility. Okeki charged at her so suddenly the children screamed. He grabbed her arm violently. You wicked woman, he shouted. You send a sick child into the night? Into Nyen Road. His rage shook the compound. Neighbors rushed from their huts. Elders gathered, palms pressed to foreheads. Children peeked from behind walls. She could be dead, someone whispered. She didn't deserve this, said another. Agoma's children, usually loud and arrogant, now trembled like leaves in Harmattan wind. And Okeki, heartbroken and enraged, ran into the darkness calling, Neka! Neka! He searched until dawn kissed the sky. His voice cracked, his legs weakened, but he did not stop. Each passing hour filled him with a deeper, more poisonous hatred for the woman who had wronged his child. In the land of the dead, Neka had no sense of time. The sky never changed, the ground never warmed. The spirits moved like drifting shadows. Only the boy returned, again and again. He talked often, as though he enjoyed her presence. Before I died, I liked to play with goats, he told her one day. Now I only play with fear. Neka forced herself to speak. You don't have to eat me. He shrugged. I must. It is our way. Your flesh gives us strength to cross into your world. If we do not eat during the full moon, we weaken. But I don't want to die, she whispered. The boy looked at her long and strangely, as if studying something he had never truly seen. You all say that, he murmured, yet every human dies. Neka closed her eyes. Her father's face rose in her memory, tired, gentle, loving. She pictured him searching for her, calling her name. Her heart broke. She whispered, Papa, please find me. But she knew he could not hear her. Okeki did not sleep. He did not eat. He searched day after day, night after night, until his feet bled and his voice became a hoarse whisper. The elders advised him to rest. The hunters warned him about snakes in the forest, but he only shook his head. My daughter's out there. On the sixth night, while his lantern flickered weakly, Okeki stepped into the deeper forest calling, Neka, Nekanea. A rustle, a hiss, a flash of scales. The snake struck before he saw it. Venom burned through his veins. Okeki fell to the earth. With his last breath, he whispered her name. Far away in the dead land, Neka felt a cold shiver pass through her, like the wind of a door closing forever. Her tears fell silently. She did not know why she felt suddenly hollow, but the dead boy watched her and tilted his head. Someone you love has left your world. And Neka, tied to the stake, choked out a sob so small, even the spirits paused to listen. She lifted her head slowly. Her heart knew before her ears did. Papa, she whispered into the gray wind. The boy's spirit appeared beside the stake without warning, his small form flickering faintly like dying fire. He did not smile this time. He only watched her with eyes as dark as the space between stars. My father, Neka said weakly. He was searching for me, wasn't he? The boy remained silent. That silence was answer enough. Her knees buckled against the ropes. A sound broke from her, low, hoarse, and full of sorrow. Oh no, Papa, no. Her tears fell freely now, soaking into the dead sand below her. She cried for the man who had carried her on his shoulders as a child. She cried for the voice that had whispered endure when the world crushed her spirit daily. She cried for the only shield she had ever known. Then her weeping turned inward. "This is my fault," she sobbed. "If only I had not gone. If only I had been stronger. If I had disobeyed them." Guilt wrapped around her throat like rope. The boy finally spoke. "He searched for you until death found him first." Her head snapped up. "No," she gasped. "He is alive. He will find me here. He will save me." The boy shook his head slowly, cruelly gentle. "Even if he reached the edge of this world," he said, "it would already be too late." Her hope shattered into pieces too sharp to gather. Her cries echoed through the lifeless air, and for a moment, even the spirits in the distance fell quiet. That same night, in the world of the living, Okeki's compound slept uneasily. The hearth was dark. The walls were silent. Agoma lay on her mat without sleep, her body stiff with unease. Since Okeki's disappearance, everything had changed. The villagers no longer brought greetings or shared palm wine. Children whispered when her children passed. Even the wind through the compound felt heavy with accusation. The smallest child shifted in her sleep, then sat up with a sharp breath. "Mama!" Agoma turned slowly. "What now?" Her daughter's eyes were wide with fear and wonder. "I dreamt of Neka again." Agoma's jaw tightened. "You and these useless dreams." "She was not crying this time, Mama," the girl said softly. "She was happy. She wore fine clothes. Her hands were full of shining stones." The other children stirred. "She looked at me and smiled," the girl added. "She told me not to fear." A strange chill passed through Agoma's spine. "Enough," she snapped. "Neka is dead. The forest took her. Carrying stories of the dead invites them back." But even as she spoke, her voice lacked its usual certainty. Because deep inside her, something shifted. Back in the land of the dead, the boy returned again as Neka's tears slowed. "You grieve loudly," he said. "My father is dead," she whispered. "Yes." Silence stretched between them. Then he crouched beside her and finally said the words he had long held back. "If you wish to return to the land of the living, there is a way." Her breath caught. He leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "The fruit you ate when you arrived here. It is the only gate between worlds. You must eat it again to cross back." Her heart surged violently. "Where is it?" "In the hut of the woman who tricked you," he answered. "She guards it fiercely. That fruit is rare even here. It is not given twice by accident." Hope crashed into terror inside Neka's chest. "But listen well," he added sharply. "If you eat anything else in this world before that fruit, food, water, even a single seed, you will belong here forever. Your body will forget the taste of life." Her stomach growled painfully at the exact moment those words left him. "I am starving," she whispered. "That hunger is a lie meant to trap you," the boy said calmly. "Your only true meal is the fruit or death." She nodded weakly. Then she looked at him with pleading eyes. "Help me get it." The boy rose slowly. "No." Her heart dropped. "You told me how to return," she said. "Why not help me escape?" He tilted his head. "Because I still hunger for your flesh, and because your name travels through this land." Her brows furrowed. "My name?" "They say you were clever among the living," he said. "That suffering sharpened your mind instead of dulling it. I want to see if that is only a rumor, or if it is truth." "So you will watch me die?" she asked bitterly. "I will watch what you become when the full moon comes close," he replied. Her voice trembled with anger. "You are cruel." "Yes," he replied easily. "So is fate." He turned to leave. "Time is running out, Neka," he added over his shoulder. "Each night the dead grow more impatient. Your cleverness must wake soon, or it will sleep forever." Then he vanished into gray mist. Neka trembled violently on the stake. Her father was gone. Death waited. Freedom burned somewhere beyond reach. No knife, no key, no help. Only her mind remained. For a long time she sat in silence, staring into nothing. Then she whispered into the empty air, her voice steady for the first time since she arrived. "Enough." The spirit stirred. "I will not cry again. The ropes cut into her skin. She ignored the pain. She thought. Far away in the compound of guilt, a Goma lay awake, staring into darkness. For the first time since Neka vanished, fear finally spoke clearly inside her chest. What if the girl is not dead? The land of the dead trembled with anticipation. A strange wind moved through the pale sky, spiraling like a restless beast. Hollow drums boomed beneath the earth, vibrating through Neka's bones. Spirits drifted toward the ritual ground in hungry clusters, their chests rising and falling with unnatural eagerness. Neka knew the time had come. Her heart pounded violently as she stared ahead, wrists raw from ropes, mind racing. Then she saw them. The boy spirit and three other ghost children, walking toward her stake, their shadows bent in unnatural directions. Their laughter echoed in the air like the sound of cracked pots. The boy child stopped directly before her, head tilted in eerie calm. "It is time," he said simply. The other children circled her, giggling. "The full moon rises," one whispered. "The ritual fires burn," another added. "Hurry, little meat," the third sang mockingly. "Your ending awaits." Neka's breath trembled. "Please," she whispered. "Please free me. Please let me go." The children burst into cruel laughter. "You want to live?" one jeered. "You came to the dead but want to run back?" another taunted. "We cannot free you," the boy said, though his voice held something like regret. "We hunger too much." Then all four spirits ran off with gleeful shrieks, vanishing into the gathering crowd. Neka lowered her head, fighting tears, but she had no time to break. A slow chill crept over her skin. The air thickened, and the old woman appeared. The same woman who had smiled at her from the night market. The same woman who offered the glowing fruit. The same woman who had stolen her life with a single gesture. But here her face was different. Her eyes were black pits, her lips stretched too wide. Smoke drifted from her fingers like the trail of a dying flame. She approached Neka and inhaled deeply, smelling her like a predator scenting prey. "Poor child," she purred. "You smell of fear and regret." Neka tried to turn away, but the woman grasped her chin with cold fingers, forcing her to look into those endless eyes. "They say you are smart in the land of the living," the woman said, "but a truly smart child does not accept food from strangers." She laughed, low and chilling. "You proved them wrong." Neka gasped softly. "My father, he will come. He will save me." "Your father?" the spirit woman hissed. "He tries. Oh yes, he tries. But even if he found the doorway into this world, he would arrive too late. You are claimed." Her laughter echoed like a funeral drum as she turned away. "Prepare yourself, clever child. Your time is up." And she vanished into mist. For a long moment, Neka trembled, body weak, spirit fading. Then something hard clicked inside her, a memory, her father's voice. "Endure, my daughter, and use your mind." Her eyes sharpened. The boy had refused to help her escape, but he had given her one unintentional clue. Spirits were easily distracted, especially the children, especially when taunting. She lifted her head. One of the spirit children, the smallest girl among the tormentors, lingered near the edge of the clearing, giggling at some unseen joke. Neka inhaled deeply. Then she whispered with cracked lips, "You, little one." The spirit child froze and turned. "Come," Neka said, her voice soft, trembling, desperate. Not with fear, but with strategy. The child approached in curiosity. You said I was clever," Neka whispered. "Prove you are clever too. Set my hands free. I will show you a hand trick, and if you could replicate it, I will allow you eat Mr. First." Flattered, the child floated toward her, smiling smugly. "You can't be smarter than me. Whatever you can do, I can do even more," the spirit girl replied. "Untie me then, and we shall see." The girl spirit untied her. Neka quickly pushed her against the stake and used same rope to tie her against the stake, then picked up a piece of wood and sealed her mouth. "Untie yourself," Neka mocked her. She was free. Before the spirits could sense the disturbance, she fled into the dead land, sand kicking beneath her wounded feet. She kept low, moving with the silence of someone who had spent a lifetime hiding her suffering. She could feel the spirit's presence like electricity in the air. Hollow stares, drifting shadows, hungry whispers. But she had learned their patterns. Where the air grew colder, a spirit was near. Where the wind hissed sharply, one passed by. Where footprints appeared without feet, danger waited. She slipped behind gray rocks, dodged drifting silhouettes, ducked under roots of ash trees, her heart a drum of terror. The woman's hut loomed ahead, tall, crooked, breathing darkness. Inside, the spirit woman lay curled on a mat, not sleeping like humans sleep, but hovering in a trance, her body flickering faintly. The fruit glowed softly beside her, the same golden fruit that had condemned Neka. Neka sank to her knees, crawling silently across the cold ground. She reached out with trembling fingers. A creak echoed through the hut. She froze. The woman's eyes remained closed. The drums outside thundered. Neka lunged. Her fingers closed around the fruit, and in one swift, desperate motion, she escaped the hut before the spirit woman stirred. The treasure hut stood near the ritual ground, its walls stacked with wealth stolen from kings and kingdoms. Neka entered silently. Inside were mountains of gold, strings of diamonds, crowns from ancient dynasties, chalices dripping with rubies, and stones that glowed with trapped moonlight. She filled her hands with diamonds, small enough to hide, valuable enough to change her life. Drums shook the ground. The spirits were gathering. Her time was gone. Neka raised the golden fruit to her lips and bit. Light exploded around her. Wind roared. The dead screamed in fury as her body dissolved out of their reach, pulling away from their world like smoke torn by a mighty storm. Her feet touched warm earth. Warm, living earth. She stood once again on the same spot of Nyen Road where the strange night market had once appeared. Now only forest stood around her, silent and familiar. The clay pot she had dropped still lay in broken pieces. Tears flooded her eyes. "I'm home," she whispered, and she ran through the forest, ran through the familiar paths, ran until the village roofs appeared. When she burst into Umuocha, cries erupted. "Neka! She is alive! A miracle! The spirits returned her!" People gathered around her, touching her shoulders, weeping in joy. And when she opened her palm to show the diamonds, the village gasped. The elders took her to the king. The king listened to her story, stunned by her courage. He stood, lifts his staff and said, "Let all hear," he proclaimed, voice booming across the courtyard, "that this girl crossed into death and returned by the will of destiny." The villagers murmured in awe. "Let all know," he continued, "that the wealth she brought shall be guarded until she comes of age. None shall touch it but she." He placed his hand on her shoulder. "And when she becomes a woman, she will join our royal household. The prince shall have her hand in marriage, for only a brave heart can walk between worlds and return unchanged." The prince, standing tall and proud, bowed to Neka with deep respect, and something more in his eyes. The villagers erupted in cheers. Neka lowered her head, overwhelmed by the love she had never known in her own home. She did not notice the prince watching her with admiration, even awe. He bowed slightly. They quickly became friends, or more. That night Neka rested in the palace, fed, clothed, honored. Her suffering was over. Her destiny had begun.